Hello.
Hello.
Katie's got the old samba music going.
Oh,
Just pause it. Just pause the video.
Just pause it.
There you go. How you doing? Nice little sideways way in. Just kick our way through the door of the post-film conversation. How you doing? We hope you enjoyed that film. That was One Night in Miami, directed by Regina King. Pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah.
I think you'll agree. So first of all, Katie, what did you think?
Sensational. I was just trying to get this up so I've got the comments.
You tell me what you thought. I'll help you with the tech stuff.
I thought it was fantastic, and because obviously we'd read a little bit about it before, and the reviews had said, and I think that David said this in the Discord as well, that Regina did this amazing job of just making those characters just normal people.
Yeah.
They were like 4 of the most famous people on the planet at the time, but in that film they were just normal guys dealing with life and issues, and their struggles were the same as lots of their other contemporaries, but they just happened to have this huge platform and world stage to sort of,
which gave them that responsibility
with great responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility.
That's it. With great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. When were we doing that quote before?
That was in the Big Potato Quiz.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
That Ben and Amy ran on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Make sure you check that out as well. But yeah, we were talking about how it's also quite similar to Ma Rainey in that this kind of clash of ideologies of how to participate in the struggle and
100%.
what people's different perspectives bring to that, and especially that clash between Sam Cooke and Malcolm X, and what they how they felt was the best way to approach this, and that kind of ideological purism that Malcolm X had versus kind of like the arch pragmatism of Sam Cooke, and the way that that clash was manifested was really interesting.
It was really interesting, and it also goes to show how it's so important for different people to actually come together. So I think it was really important for them to draw on one another. And learn from each other and think about different ways of doing things. And I kind of feel with Sam's character it was a little bit about, like, I felt that Malcolm was helping him find his power, because he was very successful and he'd done things in his own way and was this great businessman and and all of this stuff, and had his own company and his own record label. But I think that it was like that moment where Malcolm was kind of explaining how powerful he was, and using the example of that Boston gig was a really, really good way of showing that, to say like that you can still be more, and you have this power within you, and you need to trust that. I thought that was really interesting.
And also extremely powerfully, and it's worth noting, as the film notes in the postscript, that Malcolm X was killed less than a year after the events of that film. Sam Cooke was also killed less than a year after the events of that film. Killed by a hotel manager. I only know like essentially the headlines, but in an altercation with a hotel manager, the courts ruled it was lawful homicide, and his family dispute that finding. But it kind of shows that, as they were all saying throughout the film, you'll have a target on your back, no matter what. Just by virtue of being successful, you have a target on your back. And as Muhammad Ali's character said, it wasn't going to be there already. So that was an interesting kind of way of putting it. Have we got any comments?
Comments from the thing. I don't know. You took my phone. And
well, no, because I got them ready for you.
It closes off. I'm not 100% sure if I've got all of them through.
MC, that first one there.
Conscious choice for you. What do you mean?
Interesting that both the films were movie versions of stage chamber pieces.
Yes, yeah. Well, I thought that as well, and it wasn't really like that much of a conscious choice, but we thought it was really interesting that they were similar in that way, and that they had both been taken from the stage to the big screen. And I think that I'd be interested to hear from what people thought on this, actually, because I think there were some elements of Ma Rainey that people weren't so keen on, or they thought
It was a lot of people in a room talking.
That was it. It was a lot of people in a room talking, and this was kind of similar to that. So I'm wondering if
I'm interested to hear what people thought,
or if they thought that these characters were, I don't know, more relatable to the Ma Rainey characters. I don't know. Be interesting to see what people
I would say it
that.
wasn't a conscious decision, but it was interesting the fact that we did both of them largely because they were new releases to those platforms at the time. So Netflix released Ma Rainey on the 18th of December.
Yeah.
Amazon released One Night in Miami on like the 13th of January. So they both came out very
really
quick in quick succession to each other, and both films had similar themes.
Yeah.
As you said, taken from a stage play, presented not entirely dissimilarly. It's just an interesting. Interesting the way that kind of worked out.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. And Angela Kennedy says, fantastic ensemble acting and powerful roles. So sad and terrible that society has so far to go still. It helps to make you think that one's contribution is to help change things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think that's kind of what Katie and I were saying immediately afterwards. It was interesting how they had this clash of ideology on the way that things should be done, but their values were the same, so they always had that same bond.
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting kind of sentiment to look at when you think people might dispute the actions, but your core beliefs will always be something that kind of ties you to people and gives you that kind of strong sense of connection.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that one thing that they did really well in the film, and to like sort of explain where all the 4 different characters were coming from, is sort of when they did, each of them had their setup at the start, and sort of, you know, they were sort of introduced in their own way. And I thought it was really interesting that Sam Cooke, when he was in the fancy hotel at the start, so
in
like
the Copacabana.
Yeah, was that the Copacabana where he was staying?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, his first performance.
No, his first one. Sorry, but then in like the next scene after that, or soon after that, he was staying in the hotel with his I think it was girlfriend.
Right. Yeah.
Barbara, and they were in the fancy suite, and it looked all amazing. And she said, "Oh, shouldn't we be over in the other hotel with all the other black folks?" And I thought that was really interesting because it sort of underlined that, like, the feeling of guilt, like that, you know, should you be enjoying your success, should you be doing this when, you know, and it's this, and then Malcolm kind of made that comment about, oh, and who made the booking for you? Was it the white guy that works for you? And this whole thing of like, I feel like they really got that across well, the sort of agony of every decision has an impact and a meaning, like what hotel you stay in, what you do, how you present yourself, and like this feeling that on that night of this huge win for Muhammad Ali, they couldn't even just sit down and just enjoy it as mates, because the weight of the world is on their shoulders.
Yeah, and that's something that we were saying while the film was on, and I think I mentioned it in the Discord, like, as prominent, successful black people, you will have this, this is always going to be part of who you are and what you do. You're always going to be compelled to represent this struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost not an option just to enjoy your success, because people, like the way that the film showed, some people will judge you for that.
Yes, there's always consequences and impacts of for all of us and all of our actions, of course. But it's sort of, they really magnified it really well in this film.
And I think it's really interesting the way that you see how celebrities, both white celebrities and black celebrities in 2020, responded to George Floyd and Black Lives Matter and all of that.
Yeah.
You saw like the way that Lewis Hamilton made such a stand in Formula One.
Yeah.
And a huge amount of Formula One turned their back on him.
Yeah.
And didn't support that. And it was really interesting to see that, again, as a black person, it's always going to be eyes on you. How are you going to respond to this?
Yeah.
And it's even something silly that I think about sometimes. We were watching a golf tournament very soon after George Floyd, and there's a black golfer called Harold Varner III, and the first question he was asked when he came off the course was about George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, and it was like, you wouldn't be asking that of
the white
just
guy coming
any
off
generic white golfer.
Yeah.
But,
well, and also because he'd played really well that day, and the question was something like, and did what you know has happened with George Floyd, did that, you know, sort of spur you on to play really well today. And it was just.
And he was kind of like saying, I just want to play golf, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that it's interesting. And this film kind of highlighted that notion.
Yeah,
quite well.
And it was like, yes, no, 100%. And what you represent as a black person to the white community, are you really truly respected, or are you just a talisman for being good in the NFL or doing this or that? Are you just there for white people's entertainment?
A monkey dancing to the organ grinder, as Malcolm X said in the film.
Yeah, exactly. So very interesting. See if there's any more comments. MC, but also compare with a purely cinematic To Five Bloods. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if you watched that with us, MC, but we also did that, and that again, I feel like To Five Bloods exactly the same. It was again how different people were coping, and different black people with, but they were obviously coping with, that was from a different time, and also coping with PTSD from the Vietnam War, but it all wrapped up as one, and that really explored sort of generational trauma and mental health, and that was a really interesting other aspects of it, going more into the, you know, like the mental toll that it takes to go through those experiences. So that was also very, very well done and very good film.
So keep your thoughts coming in. Katie's also written some notes down here. I'm going to give her the chance to study through and pick out a talking point, but we also always want to hear what you guys think about the film, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. I thought that I frequently noticed the blocking in the film.
Yeah.
The way that they assemble the shots and the way that they have the different actors stood in different places. I thought it was really interesting the way that they did that in this film. And it was always seemed like almost like a feat of choreography, although it seemed so simple, to have them all in shot, all at the same time in different depths. It was all really well put together, quite tightly done.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you have any other thoughts from your notes?
Well, kind of going back to, you know, what we were saying about any successful black person sort of being in that role, it reminded me of the Michael Jordan documentary, and the part where do you remember it was
The Last Dance?
The Last Dance, the Netflix series, and it was over his Nike contract with the shoes, and there was I can't remember, it was like a local election was happening, and it was Republican, Democrat, and it was obviously a black.
It was a Senate race, wasn't it?
Senate race.
Something like that.
I thought it was something like that. And there was a black politician running, and obviously Michael Jordan was sort of put in a position, or asked, you know, to whether he would sort of come out and support this guy. And in the end, he didn't, because he said Republicans buy trainers too, or sneakers too.
Yeah.
And because he had this huge contract with Nike. And I thought that, again, that was really interesting, and he came under a lot of fire for that. And even in the documentary, they asked Obama about it.
Yeah, because obviously Obama's from Chicago.
Yeah, and he was obviously a massive fan. But, you know, Obama said, yeah, that was disappointing. I would have liked to have seen him been able to do something. But he obviously, as Obama, like, he answered it very diplomatically, and he said, I would have liked to have seen him to be able to do more. But, you know, when you watch that, you just think, oh, he had so much going on in his life. Like, at the time, it's so hard. And if you want to be the best at basketball, sometimes you just have to focus on the basketball. And, like, everybody has a limit to their emotional capacity and their ability to, you know, give so much of their life to a certain, you know, cause, especially when it's something that you're going to come under, you know, hammer for. So, you know, it's
hard enough to be a global superstar without having the additional burden of being a representative of your community and fighting up against a centuries-old systemic struggle on top of it all.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's a tough gig.
Pretty tough. Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that, that really, there was lots of things that sort of reminded me of that from watching this film, and I think it really hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Really well.
Dave Chapman said, I'd love to go through the script with a fine-tooth comb because it seemed there were so many strong lines. Yeah, really agreed. Were. It was a very, obviously, the film being written by the playwright, that obviously helped, and I'm sure that a lot of it was borrowed from the play. Not having seen it, I wouldn't know, but probably. And David A said, many took the opportunity to outwardly support BLM, but did nothing of actual change or support. Yeah.
And that is a big, you know, and again, it's like what you do outwardly and what you do inwardly in your day to day need to line up.
To marry up, yeah.
And sort of for all of us. And then, as this film sort of goes into, it's then even harder when you have some kind of public persona on top of that. Like, what does it look like for Muhammad Ali to be Muslim? What does that look like for his career? But then what does that mean for him privately in his own, spirituality and religion, and how, it's so difficult.
Every decision has to be made through the lens of how is this going to be interpreted, and how is this going to affect the cause that I'm fighting, and how is this going to affect the career that I'm trying to build, and how is this going to affect my personal safety? Like, it's I think that the film showed that kind of confluence of difficult factors in any decision quite well.
Do you think there was an element in the film that Malcolm X knew that his days were numbered?
Well, it seemed like it was heavily referenced.
Obviously it was heavily referenced, but I wonder whether it was like, because we now know that he died a year later, it was sort of then retroactively written in that way, or retrospectively, but that it was almost like he knew that he wouldn't be around much longer, and he was trying to get other people to take on the baton as much as possible before.
It's possible. I mean, there's also a great Denzel Washington film, which he starred in a biopic on Malcolm X, which would be also worth checking out if you wanted to find out more about that particular
this
character in the story.
definitely sparks interest to find out more about all of the characters, for sure.
Yeah. Dave said, reblocking. There was a scene early on when Malcolm was on one side of the room and the other three on the other side. It felt like a physical portrayal of the side of the fence they were on. Or the line in the sand, as he might have said.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about what's coming up on the movie club while I prep some Quizzy Rascal questions?
Yes, but what do you mean what's coming up
on the movie club? What do people have to do in order to decide what's going to be on next Friday?
Okay, yeah.
That sort of thing.
Well,
and
that's
what special project have you got that's coming up?
Okay, but we've already kind of said that in the pre, but I'll say it.
Yeah.
I'll say it. That's fine.
Say it.
Maybe you should prep the Quizzy questions before.
Maybe you should prep the Quizzy questions
just
before.
Just saying. But yes, so we have sent an email out with some votes for the next few weeks, because we want to get super organised and have a schedule. So people know what's coming up, and so we can kind of share it a bit more easily with people. And also I've been working on a super special website that's going to have a kind of an event section, so we can like see everything that we've got coming up and just a bit more information. And I was even looking into maybe putting together some like blog posts on like how to host your own movie night for people who have missed previous ones, and like that's going to have all loads of cool stuff and links to the podcast, so lots of cool things.
Lots of exciting things. Got a couple more comments and then we'll get into Quizzy Rascal.
Yep.
So, MC, perhaps what was missing, they can't do everything, was what Malcolm X's autobiography says, read the commonality of black and white working class before he was assassinated, and props the reason. I think there might be a bit more to come on that.
Right, yeah.
And Emily said, really interesting discussion. That journalist asking the goal for that question just shows how uneducated us white people are about the traumas of racism.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, absolutely.
And it also, that going back to that thing, that golf thing, it was right after George Floyd. I mean, and it was like the lack of understanding to see like how this guy is even here at this tournament, with the just how emotionally horrific that was. And now you're asking him questions about it and saying, has this guy's death somehow impacted his golfing performance in a positive way? Like, it was just so bizarre.
It was absurd.
Yeah, 100%. Like, oh.
So keep your thoughts and comments coming in, but we are going to change gear somewhat.
Somewhat, yeah.
To the first edition of Quizzy Rascal.
Yes.
And do you want to quickly explain how this works?
Quizzy. So John will fire a pre-prepared question that he's done.
I pre-prepared all of these weeks in advance.
Yeah. And you have to answer in the comments, and I will give you a random emoji, and that's going to be your buzzer. So you have to put the emoji and then the answer.
Correct.
And both have to be correct to get the points, and you have to be first. It's a very highly skilled game.
And does the emoji and the answer have to be in the same comment?
No, I'm going to say...
No?
Oh, no, they do, because otherwise then you can just put a spoiler emoji. Oh, yeah, no, they do. Good job John's here,
Jeepers
because I'm really
creepers.
like casual on rules, so. And points are assigned randomly by me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
random
So what's the first question worth? How many points?
We're going to start off with a big one, 50 points.
50 points. Goodness me.
Ooh.
So, One Night in Miami was directed by Regina King in her directorial debut.
Mm-hmm.
She has won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. What film did she win that Oscar for?
Wow, and the emoji, is there an Oscar emoji?
I don't think so.
The emoji is a sun.
A sun.
Yeah,
Here comes the
that's
sun.
like gold, like a gold Oscars. That's my thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
There, you've got to keep your comments.
Keep it on the comments.
Live.
Keep it live.
So yeah, that's what we're after. Regina King, Oscar winner. What did she win it for? Which film? It was Best Supporting Actress. And it was in 2019, so not that long ago.
Mm.
And by the looks of it, she might be a dual-talented person.
I think so.
Do you think she's going to do more directing or acting? Or
Well, after
maybe
that,
both?
I would hope directing. David A's coming with the spoiler.
Okay, well that's something.
David Chapman, if Beale Street could talk.
Is that what he said?
If Beale could talk.
Is that the name of the film, though?
Yeah, but I mean, we know what he's saying.
Is it the name of the film?
No, it's not.
No, it's not the name of the film.
But then he's coming with a correction street.
No, he's just written Street Star there. That doesn't mean anything.
Oh my gosh, Dave. I don't know what to say.
I say half points.
Half points.
Yeah.
Yeah, 25 points.
Okay. That's still a lot of
25.
points.
Yeah, that
considering
is.
how many points are normally on
At
offer.
this point, last season, Dave was on like minus 10 points. So,
yeah, so
you know,
he's already doing better than he was.
He's done well.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the characters in One Night in Miami was Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was famously portrayed by an actor in a biopic of his life called Ali. Can you name the actor who starred in that film?
It's tough. The emoji is the fist emoji because of the, you know.
Because of the punching. All
The
that punching
all
that he
that
did.
punching.
He did do quite a lot of punching in his time. I didn't really articulate that question very well, but there's a film called Ali, which is a biopic of Muhammad Ali. Who starred in it?
And it's for 15 points.
Okay. Do we have any answers?
Dan said Walking in Memphis is a great song. Just saying.
That's got nothing to do
Completely
with anything.
random.
We've got a couple of answers without emojis.
Oh.
So
And then Dave's coming with the emoji. Is this correct? Because I don't even know the answer.
the answer is correct. Dan, well...
Oh, now you see, because Dan has come in with a proper forward fist.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering.
But you know, I did just say... Oh.
James Stillwell, on his debut got the correct answer, but did not put the emoji.
But you know, this is the thing, it's hard to get Quizzy right. I think Dave's stealing the points again.
Oh, goodness
so
me.
15.
We're tough taskmasters here.
I know.
I don't make the rules. Right. Another one. Leslie Adom Jr. Played Sam Cooke in this film. He shot to fame in an internationally acclaimed musical when he was in the original cast on Broadway. Name that musical.
And the emoji is like any kind of, you know, like singing notes, like the notes.
Yeah, the notes.
Notes.
So, the guy who played Sam Cooke, Leslie Adom Jr., which musical did he star in that catapulted him to superstardom? That is the question that I want to know. Okay.
Now, there's as always...
There's some controversy.
David A said surely Ben gets it because he did the emoji first.
Well, no, because Dan Hobbs did that.
No, but it's in the emoji before the answer,
Oh,
so emoji and then answer.
Well, possibly.
So we're gonna have to do a Stuart's inquiry.
Yeah, and Gary's come in about 3 weeks late with the emoji.
Yeah, he's done it. Oh my gosh, is it Dave again?
Yeah.
David! And I didn't even say how many points, but it's got to be at least 10. Give him 10.
This
What is... Guys, you can't let him just swim away with it on the first.
My dad's just messaged me to say Hamilton sod the emoji. So I don't know if that counts.
I think that's 10 points because that is creative. He's gone right to the source. 10 points for Nick.
I mean, don't everyone just text me though. That's not what we're after. Okay, how many questions have we had?
Well, through 3.
3.
3, yeah.
Okay. Now this one could be a bit obscure, but I don't care.
And Angela Kennedy said that her phone only offers 20 emojis on this YouTube thing, so that's a problem. So Angela, you can just do any emoji that you like. Just try and keep it as close to
Something in within the ballpark.
Yeah.
So, one of the cornermen in Muhammad Ali, at the beginning of the film, he's only in 2 scenes, was also in a very famous HBO series. The actor's name is Michael Imperioli, and he played a character called Christopher in this incredible TV series. Name the series.
The emoji is the spaghetti bolognese plate.
What's the emoji for Angela?
Angela, anything that's similar to spaghetti bolognese.
What's that going to be?
Well, I don't know. Anything food. She could do anything food.
Okay, like an orange?
Yeah, an orange or an apple.
Okay. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for any food stuff. Oh, somebody's just come up with it, I think, on there.
Do you think my phone's behind?
I've just seen it over there. It looks like P.I. Naylor.
Yeah, Pat Naylor's got the correct answer, but
some kind of stop hand?
Yeah. So, there you go. Angela Kennedy's come with the similar emoji.
Do you know what?
We're going to have to give it to Pat Naylor.
I think we're going to have to give it to Pat Naylor.
Yeah, because we're assuming that she's also someone that's on the limited YouTube thing.
Limited emojis.
But Dan says that you have to use the phone emojis, not the YouTube ones. I don't know, I'm not. See, Gary's got done like a paella.
Oh, goodness. There's so much controversy with Quizzy Rascal.
I know, it's just sensational.
Because Malcolm and Dan are both saying that the answers are coming up before the questions have been asked.
I know. Man alive.
Oh, it's too much. It's too much. I don't know how we're going to make this any fairer.
I know. We're going to give that one to Pat because she I'm assuming that she didn't have the right thing. Angela Kennedy change is going to come, hopefully.
Is that emoji updates are going to come?
Yeah.
Okay, last question. How many points is it worth?
Stuart's inquiry. How many points is this question worth?
Oh, and James Stillwell's done 3 loading emojis, which I think is quite good.
That's quite clever. I actually thought that was his thing in loading.
Do you want to give some extra points for that?
Yeah, okay. 5 points, because that was creative.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the last question. You need to tell me how many points it's worth.
40.
40?
Big. David A, this is carnage. I love it. We're back. We're in true Quizzy style.
Yeah. And this is going to be a question related to the film, okay? And that question is this. I would like you to name the club where Sam Cooke had his disastrous performance at the beginning. It was already mentioned in this post live.
And the emoji is the pina colada one.
Okay. So we're going to see if these answers are coming in before some people have heard that question. But what was the famous club that Sam Cooke had his disastrous performance in his first scene, the second scene of the film? And it is the pina colada emoji, or for Angela Jane, any kind of liquid.
Or if there's a pineapple, I've just drawn on
He's drawn on me.
MC's got it correct, but didn't get the emoji in.
Half points. And then half points for Daisy Tomps for getting it right with the emoji.
Right with the emoji, yeah.
And also bonus points if anyone can guess the film that this T-shirt is from. I have a different film T-shirt every week. This one is from a film that we actually watched with the movie club. It is Abe Froman's Sausage King of Chicago. Also, tangentially related? No, nothing happened in Chicago. No, never mind.
There's
But,
some really good emojis here, though.
yeah.
Angela Kennedy's, I think it's like a thing of ice or water. Ben's got
A baby's bottle,
baby
and it
bottle,
says
so
Club Cabana. Well, that's not
that's
right.
incorrect, Ben. Shame. Sounds good.
And David Chapman's got the T-shirt.
Again, Dave, were we giving points for that?
Yeah, I said bonus points.
Bonus points, how many?
I wanted to give 10 points because
Well,
I think it's
then
quite
10
a
points,
good,
then.
quite a good.
Oh my gosh. Dave's got so many points, I
Dave's-
can't even add them up.
Dave is the new Catherine Ashling.
He is.
Catherine Ashling, who didn't even participate
he's got
in
60 points.
season 2's Quizzy Rascal because
Okay.
she got so much hammer.
Right, 60 points for Dave. So next week, we're going to have to, like, everyone else is
Balance
going to
this
have to
out
run
somehow.
interference, and we're going to need to put loads of spoilers.
I think we can.
Oh,
or-
that's what we didn't tell people who don't know. You can do spoilers, which is when you put the emoji in without an answer, and it cuts the points to half. So everyone's going to have to do
good
that.
to tell that right at the end after
Right,
we've done all the
yeah,
answers.
yeah. But we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll do it next week because Dave's gonna have to, like, genuinely at the end of the last season, like the maximum points people were getting were like 75.
So yeah, we're gonna have to make up a leaderboard, and Dave's gonna have to. He's there to get shot at. Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay, so coming up on the Movie Club, we will have another live watch along next Friday, starting at 7:15, right here on our YouTube channel. I can tell you there is one film in a strong lead already on the votes,
Great one.
but it's still all to play for. You've got until Wednesday to have your say on the next 3 films that we watch, and there's some great selections there, all available on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
Don't forget the website will be coming out next week.
Yes.
We will also have our Wednesday email.
Yep.
Which will have a little look back on the movie.
And thank you cards are in the post. Did we say that?
Thank you cards are in the post for all of our lovely donors. Thank you so much again for allowing this beautiful new format to take place.
The new website, because that's like we got all.
I
the
said the new website.
No, but that's because of the
Oh,
donations.
that was thanks to your funding.
Yeah.
We were able to afford
a fancy, cool
website.
thing. Yeah.
Any more comments?
Have a look.
Just going to look for comments just before we finish.
But I feel like they're coming up on there quicker than my phone. Oh, here we go. Loads just get. Oh, loads have come up.
Yeah, that's because you turned off your flipping phone.
You should be in charge of this. Dan says the milk is closer to a pina colada than this. That's actually probably true. So.
Steele says rigged.
Rigged. Yeah.
Well, it's all rigged.
Welcome to Quizzy, Steele, because that's just how it goes. I'd really like a pina colada.
Ooh, MC offering out some bonus points.
Or the TV series written by the person who worked with Malcolm on his book.
Ooh, that is a great question. If anyone gets that, I think that should be worth
that's 20 points.
Big bonus points. If anyone gets that, stick it in the Discord.
Yes.
And we will give you the bonus points.
Yeah. Season 3, The Rise of Dave. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
then Dan's just going Bueller.
Bueller.
Bueller. But yeah, thank you so much to everybody for joining us. This was a wonderful first episode back.
It was,
Season 3, episode 1. And we will be joining you very soon for some more fun and games. But we'll speak to you all in the near future, and we'll see you all again next Friday. Okay, bye.